Guys, I raised over $100,000 in one night, and I'm going to show you exactly how I did it and how you can do it right now on the Fearless Investor Podcast. Hello. Welcome into the Fearless Investor Podcast. You're listening to me, Kyle Stanley, and we're talking about raising money today. So I figured this would be a great opportunity for me to say, if you have extra money laying around and you are not sure what to do with it, and you're kind of tired of hearing about these syndications that are only paying between 4 to 8%, or you're not really wanting to be a property manager and go out there and find the tenants, or maybe even with Airbnb, go and do all of that yourself, and you want to be a part of a deal that's going to pay you double-digit returns, this is a great place to start. Everything I'm doing in the Airbnb world is producing that type of return. And while there is no guarantee, there is the opportunity to be able to earn a lot of money passively. And that's what I'm doing with a lot of investors. So if you have any interest in that, you can do one of two things. You can DM me on Instagram, Fearless Kyle. Just go ahead and DM me and we can set up a conversation. Or you can email me at info@fearlesskyle.com and just once again ask for us to start up a conversation and we can get on the phone and talk about that exactly. So with that being said, I was really encouraged. The other night, I just had this idea and I was like, you know what? We need to raise a little bit extra money, and I need to kind of talk to the masses here and see what kind of return I'm going to get for my time, and for the opportunity to be able to help other people to make some passive income. But that's one thing. Like, raising money is just something that I haven't put a whole lot of time into, and so with a very little amount of time that I put into it, I was able to raise over $100,000 in one night after 1 hour on one presentation. We did a webinar and ended up raising over $100,000. So I really started reflecting, and I thought to myself, how did I get to this point where people who knew me well or barely knew me or kind of knew me were ready to invest upwards of $25, $50, or $100,000 per person? And so I kind of took a minute to think about it today, and I boiled it down to 5 things. And so I want to share those 5 things with you today that can help you to start building a fund of private money that can help you to scale your business. Because at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, the only way that we can scale in our real estate or Airbnb business is either A, by already being rich. And if you are, then you probably aren't very motivated to go and build your own business out of anything that I'm doing, from flips to wholesaling to Airbnb. So that probably is not your situation. B, you are going to raise money and use a little bit of your own money and have some sort of, middle grounds there where you're using some of yours and then you're going and raising a little bit. Or C, you're raising all the money and being able to scale your business. So today I want to talk about the 5 things that can help you to start raising money. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be a slow grind. It's going to be unless you already are doing these 5 things. And here's the thing is, I was doing these 5 things. I just never really opened it up to having a conversation with a mass amount of people about the opportunity to invest with me. And so when I finally did, I was like, holy cow, I built up all these things and I just hadn't asked the question yet. So maybe you are in that position and you can just ask the question and be surprised with how much money you can end up raising. So first thing, become an expert in your field. Now, becoming an expert to me means being really good at one thing. So if you're a real estate investor, I would not call that becoming an expert. I would say being a flipper. When you're doing, 20 deals or more a year, that's an expert. Wholesaling, when you're doing, 15 to 25 deals a year, that's an expert. Airbnb, you have 10 or more units, that's an expert. Where people think of you, they think, okay, this guy is the flipper, this guy is the Airbnb guy, this guy is the multifamily guy, this guy is the wholesaler, this guy is the subject to guy, the creative financing. There's all these different things. And if you're trying to do all of them and you're only doing about 3 a year of each, kudos to you, you're making great money, but you're probably never seen as the expert in any of those things. You're just seen as the jack of all trades and the master of none. And for that reason, you probably aren't at top of mind for people. To just, when I think about it and someone tells me like, oh, hey, I want to introduce you to my friend, he's a real estate investor, I think to myself, okay, great. I know a lot of real estate investors. What is special about that person? And so I always want to connect with people. So I'm not saying I wouldn't connect with this person, but it doesn't like excite me right away to hear real estate investor. Now, if someone says, hey, I've got someone I want you to meet, they're a real estate investor and they are specifically doing a ton of flipping, then I'm like, okay, cool. They're an expert in flipping. Maybe I can learn something from this person. And so when you become an expert, to me, you just are at top of mind and you're creating a lot more opportunities for conversation. So that's number one. Number two, get proof of concept. So last night, or sorry, I'm airing this now on Thursday. This is a few nights ago now, but when I got onto this webinar to present this deal that I had to present something where I had already done a similar deal like this. So what I did was back in March, I did a deal with a friend of mine who's also a real estate investor in Fresno and a real estate agent. And I just really hooked him up. Like I gave him a great return. I showed him that by doing this deal with me, we're both going to make money. And he's like, I want to make how much on my money? Like this feels too good to be true. And then I delivered. I gave him exactly what I told him that he would make. And so I had this testimonial from someone, an investor who had already given me some of his money. I raised money with him. And he was able to do a little testimonial with me, a little recorded video, and I presented it on the webinar. And I truly believe it was that people saw a happy client, a happy investor that probably pushed them over the edge to say, yeah, I should do this. So it was proof of concept of a deal. It was proof of concept with a client. It was proof of concept of the deal that I was showing had actually been done before and produced really positive results. So maybe for you in Airbnb, you're trying to raise $15,000 for furniture. Well, maybe you're going to have to either raise that $15,000 and pay a stupid interest rate of like 25% or more the first time just to get someone to trust you. Or maybe you're going to have to put $15,000 of your own money into it the first time. Or maybe you're just going to have to do it with someone who already has the place furnished. You know, there's some options there, but if you're going to go to someone and say, hey, I need $15,000 for furniture, they're going to say, show me the numbers. How am I sure that you're going to make that money back so that I'm covered when you go to pay me back? So that would be the proof of concept point. Number three, build great relationships, which also means build a great reputation. All these people that came onto the webinar either were friends, family, people I'd done deals with before, or people that were in my Airbnb Masterminds group, which if you're not a part of that, go to Facebook, Airbnb Masterminds. Would love to be able to have you be a part of that group. These people had already built a relationship with me, whether it was for a lifetime or virtually, and had trust with me. And so for that reason, people do business with people that they like doing business with, right? So for that reason, they knew coming into the webinar, Kyle is a guy that I would like to actually invest with. So are you a person that people would like to invest with? I don't care how good the deal is. If you're a skis ball, people are not going to want to do a deal with you. Even if it is the perfect deal, it is the perfect scenario, it is the perfect everything. If you're scratching your head on why no one wants to be a part of it, you might want to look in the mirror. And so for me, everything I do is based on relationships. I am 100% focusing on how can I provide value to people? How can I create great relationships that are win-wins on both sides? It's not just it's a symbiotic relationship. I can't remember what the opposite of that is, but I'm not feeding off of people. I'm eating with people, if that makes sense. So to me, if you're not building great relationships, I would definitely say, some people get into real estate and they think, okay, I can just post stuff on Facebook. I can just send out flyers. I can do all this stuff and I can get deals. Yeah, you might get some deals, but honestly, at the end of the day, if you're not talking to people and you're not providing value to people, you're not creating great relationships and people don't know what you're doing, that is a problem. That is a big issue because if you have 450 friends in your life and only 2 of them know about the fact that you're a real estate agent or real estate investor, that is an issue. So you have to be building relationships with people and people that want to send you business and want to do deals with you. So that's number 3, build great relationships and a great reputation. Number 4, find great deals. Get really good at finding deals, whether that is through networking, through marketing channels of direct mail, bandit signs, getting really good at finding, like on Airbnb, I can find deals on the MLS that I know are going to be great deals for Airbnb that other people might not see as deals because they're only looking at it through one lens. So for me, I want to get really good at finding deals through, and that also includes through wholesalers. I love building relationships with wholesalers so that I'm top of mind when they have a deal that comes their way and they say, this looks like it could be a good Airbnb. This looks like it could be a good flip. And I'm thinking of Kyle for that. And so what that looks like for you is, I talk about all the time, you've got to focus your attention onto the 2 to 3 ways of building a deal flow that are going to be the best for you. I don't do direct mail. I don't do bandit signs. I don't do door knocking. I don't do driving for dollars. I don't do those things, guys, because I believe that the best way for me to find deals is to either talk directly to sellers through networking. So one of the deals that we closed earlier this year was actually through a seller that was friends with a good family friend of mine, and they connected us together. And so networking, building relationships. I want to close deals through wholesalers. Maybe I'm going to make $10,000 less on that deal on the flip, but I know that that $10,000 less than I made is way worth it to me, way more worth it to me, because I don't have to get on the phone and take cold calls or do cold calling or go driving for dollars. I can spend that time with the people that I love, doing the things that I love. So for me, I'm focusing really closely on 2 channels, which is networking and wholesalers. And so for me, that's the best way for my business to find deals. Also, I would add a third one in there. I build relationships, a lot of relationships with realtors who bring me pocket deals. We just closed on a flip where we're going to make probably between the 2 of us, it's a joint venture deal. Excuse me, guys, I'm battling a cold. We're going to, between the 2 of us, probably make about $25,000 each. That came from a realtor who inboxed me and said, hey, I think this might be a good deal for you. So that was a great way to get a deal basically for free. All right. So that's number 4. And number 5, you have to have the ability to communicate and present your deal very clearly. If I came to you and said, got a great deal, it's going to get double-digit returns, you want to be a part of it, what are you going to say? Whoa, like, what kind of deal is it? Where is it? What's the exit strategy? How am I protected? All these different things, right? Because the bait there is, yeah, I want to make double-digit returns, but you didn't tell me anything about the deal. So if you think that you're going to get into a deal and find a great deal and just send it to people and say, okay, you want to be a part of this, I think you're fooling yourself. So when I got on this webinar the other night, we had an entire presentation for about 45 minutes where I was talking about, okay, here's what the deal is going to make. Here's how I got to that scenario. Here's what you'd make if you invested X amount of dollars. Here's the exit strategy. If and I was showing people, hey, if you are doing X, Y, and Z with this money, or want to do X, Y, and Z with this money, this is a good deal for you. Or if you want to do A, B, and C with your money, this probably isn't a good deal for you. And then we're talking about all these things, and I'm communicating very clearly so people know, like, all right, in 5 to 7 years, we can have this opportunity to get out of the deal. I know for the next 5 to 7 years, it's not guaranteed, but I'm hoping to make about 12 to 15, maybe even 18% on my money or more. I know as well that Kyle has researched this area, and he showed us these comps that show that, hey, this main house is going to get $160 a night and this one's going to get $75 a night, and that's very conservative. I know that everything that Kyle is showing me, he's underselling, and he's going to probably be over delivering. And even at that underselling point, I'm really comfortable. So it's those things that when they leave this presentation, and guys, this could be a webinar, this could be a one-on-one sit down, this could be even just having a napkin presentation in front of people. As long as you can communicate clearly the expectations, and you've recognize the expert. I'm going over these again. Recognize the expert. You have the proof of concept. You've built a great relationship with this person or these people. You found a great deal, and now you're communicating it clearly. At the end of the day, if they don't see the deal, that's okay, because you don't want someone that's needing to be convinced to be in a deal. You want someone that's hungry to be in your deal and sees, oh my gosh, I want to be in that. I like that deal because of the best case scenario, and I also like that deal because of the worst case scenario, and I'm going to make some money either way. So long story short, that is what I believe, and I could be wrong, or I could have missed some things, or maybe I'm overestimating a couple things, but I really believe that the other night when I was able to raise over $100,000 in one night, it was because we did all these. my team and I did all these 5 things very well over the last year and a half of starting this business. So I hope this helps you and gives you the confidence too to go out and raise some money. If you're already an expert, if you're already someone who has the proof of concept, the relationships, you have the great deals, and you can communicate clearly, then all you need to do at this point is just ask the question, hey, how would you like to make X amount of dollars on your money or X amount of percentage on your money? I would like to sit down and show you how to do that. But if you're not, you need to go back to the drawing board and figure out, what can I become an expert in? How can I get the proof of concept? Am I already building relationships? If I'm not, I need to start going and building relationships. How can I find those deals consistently? And how can I hone my skills on being a great and clear communicator to present these deals in a way that would be enticing? So to me, this is everything that you need to be able to raise money. We also have a great video back from about a year and a half ago that I encourage you to go on to either the podcast or the YouTube channel with my good friend Ryan Carmody. He did a great presentation on the 11 point script on how to have a conversation with a private money lender to get them to raise money with you. So I would go back and if you just Google or if you look on the YouTube channel and you search the name Ryan Carmody, RyanCarmody, then you should be able to find it. Or actually, I believe it's on the show notes, fearlesskyle.com/Ryan Carmody. And that would be a great spot for you too. That was really what I kind of focused the entire presentation around, was those 11 points. So anyway, I hope this helped you today to be able to go out there and conquer the world of investing, and especially conquer the world of raising money. Thanks so much for joining us, guys.